Scalding soup, a MAGA hat, and a waiter looking like he just live-streamed his own cancellation. 1 second, the whole restaurant froze like a paused sitcom. But who would have guessed the guy dripping broth would turn everyone's world upside down? Buckle up. This revenge isn't just personal, it's legendary. La Belle Cuisine was known for its elegant dishes and high-end service, but today felt different. Trevor, a 22-year-old server juggling shifts to pay for college, was already having a bad morning. His uniform was wrinkled, his patience thin, and the lingering smell of fryer oil wasn't helping. The bell above the door jingled, and in walked a man wearing a bright red MAGA hat. Trevor froze for a moment, suppressing a groan. "Just my luck," he muttered, grabbing a menu from the hostess stand. The man, about 50, carried himself with an air of authority. His tailored suit and polished shoes clashed with the bold hat perched on his head. He approached the counter and said in a firm, calm voice, "Table by the window, please." Trevor plastered on a fake smile. "Right this way, sir." As Trevor seated the man, he couldn't help but let sarcasm slip into his tone. "Here's the best seat in the house, perfect for a patriot like you." The man didn't react. He simply adjusted his hat, ordered the soup of the day, and began scrolling on his phone. His calm demeanor grated on Trevor's nerves. A sudden commotion at a nearby table caught Trevor's attention. 2 customers were arguing loudly, and Trevor hurried over to defuse the situation. In his haste, he bumped into a busboy carrying a tray of food. Hot soup flew from the tray, landing squarely on the man in the MAGA hat. The restaurant went silent. Every eye was on the man, who now had soup dripping from his face and onto his expensive suit. "Oh my God," Sarah, another server, whispered from the corner. The man wiped his face with a napkin, his expression unreadable. Slowly he stood, soup still steaming off his shoulders, and stared directly at Trevor. Trevor was summoned to the manager's office as soon as the man left to clean up. Mr. Jenkins, the restaurant manager, was pacing back and forth, his face red with anger. "What the hell were you thinking, Trevor?" Jenkins barked. "It was an accident," Trevor protested. "The guy was just standing too close." Jenkins wasn't buying it. "You don't accidentally dump soup on someone's head. That man looked like he could own half the city." Little did Jenkins know how close he was to the truth. Meanwhile, the man, William Hunt, had returned to his table, now dressed in a crisp white shirt and sans the MAGA hat. He called Jenkins over with a simple wave. "May I have a word in private?" Hunt said, his tone polite but firm. In the office, Hunt introduced himself. "William Hunt. As of last week, I own this restaurant." Jenkins's jaw dropped. Mr. Hunt, I assure you this is not how we usually operate." Hunt raised a hand to silence him. "I came in today to see how things run. What I witnessed was eye-opening. That server needs to learn a lesson about professionalism, and I plan to ensure he does." Jenkins nodded vigorously, eager to avoid any fallout. "Whatever you think is best, sir." Hunt smiled faintly. "Oh, I know exactly what's best." The next day, Trevor arrived for his shift, still rattled from the previous day's events. As he clocked in, he noticed the staff whispering and stealing glances at him. "What's going on?" Trevor asked Sarah. "The guy from yesterday? He's the new owner," Sarah whispered wide-eyed. Before Trevor could process this, Jenkins called him into the office. Sitting behind the desk, where Jenkins usually presided, was William Hunt. "Take a seat," Hunt said. His voice was calm, but his gaze was piercing. Trevor reluctantly sat down. "You probably figured out who I am by now," Hunt began. "What you did yesterday was unacceptable, but instead of firing you, I've decided to give you an opportunity to improve." Trevor blinked, unsure if he should feel relieved or terrified. "Starting today, you'll be assisting the kitchen staff during peak hours, and after your shift, you'll be on cleanup duty. Every spill, every dish, every inch of this restaurant, your responsibility." Wait, what? Trevor exclaimed. Hunt leaned forward. Think of it as hands-on training in humility. For weeks, Trevor endured grueling shifts, scrubbing grease traps, mopping floors, and dealing with irate chefs. Hunt would occasionally check in, watching from the corner with a satisfied smirk. One night, as Trevor scrubbed the last pot, Hunt approached him. "Learn anything yet?" Hunt asked. Trevor looked up, exhausted but humbled. "Yeah, don't mess with the guy in the MAGA hat." Hunt chuckled. "Close enough." Trevor stayed on at La Belle Cuisine, but he never forgot the lesson he'd learned, or the man who taught it to him.